What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. 2-0 talk. Jalen's here to stay.
Let's go. This ain't the fuck like oh, this game he stinks.
Oh shit!
It's gone.
Here, you're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome in, everybody. This is the A2D Radio Eagles post-game show. We are brought to you by FanUp, and FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. Actually, they're just giving you $50 now. So you use promo code A2D, you just get $50. And you can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. Even better, you don't even need bonus points. Right? There's a slide of money across the table. Slide of money, which the Eagles might have to do at the end of this year. At the end of this year with Jalen Hurts. But we'll wait on that conversation. Tonight show, Ryan Brodo, Greg Mwadvik, Nick Delgazzo, Brian Wilson, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, you got to be feeling good. Because if you're not feeling good, I tell you, I ask you to check your pulse and whatever else is beating on your body and make sure you're alive. And make sure you're alive. And guess what? You know, we're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. We'll do our winners and losers of the game. And obviously talk about the performance of one Jalen Hurts. Because he was electric in the first half. He's what a franchise quarterback looks like. Right? And we've talked ad nauseum about different things, and we're going to get into Jalen in a minute, right? We'll get into the whole Jalen thing in a minute. So I don't want to go off on it yet. We'll hold it. Main topic at hand, Eagles, Vikings, brought to you by Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code A2D at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. And the biggest part tonight is reading off comments, questions, excitement, everything you got in store for us out there. So make sure wherever you're watching us, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live, and everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the follow, a little 5-star, comment in, come talk to us, come feel good with us. This is going to be a fun night.
2-0, baby.
24-7 win. Nobody had that, right? Nobody had 24-7. I think everybody had a close game one way or the other. Right, definitely everybody expected more points, but this was a big week for our defense, right? And the first takeaway before we get into the quarterback side is the defense. They came to play, right? They flat out came to play, and we did that without even getting a lot of pressure outside of when we blitzed. I mean, our front four was sort of non-existent tonight, right? But you got to lead. That's the bigger thing. You get up big on teams, you dictate, right? It's a little bit easier to dictate when you get up in the first half like that, but we did that last week, and it didn't work out. Right, we let our foot off the gas tonight. He started blitzing in the fourth, right? He started doing some of those things that we're begging for, and it paid off big time, especially when you have island guys. When you have corners who can play on islands, it's time to let the dogs off the leash, right? And let guys go get the quarterback. You know, I saw Son Reddick maybe in coverage too much tonight again, but you know now I'm nitpicking. Right, Jonathan Gannon survives another week. It's a big performance by his defense on a week where nobody thought he was going to do this. Right, and his defense was going to do this. Everybody thought Minnesota was going to score points, right? Even Eagles fans, we thought Minnesota was going to put up some points tonight, right? But it's a big response. We talk about responses, right? Change some things you do. I thought they did that tonight, and players play. And listen, we made open field tackles. We did all them things defensively that we weren't doing last week, especially in the third and fourth. I mean, we
takeaways, baby.
Goose eggs, takeaways, right? Goose eggs tonight in the third and fourth. Our offense, right, sort of came out a little lackadaisical in the third and fourth, but our defense shut it down. Hey, two sides of the football need to play well for you to win football games in this league, and both did tonight. Right, the offense was electric in the first half, and Jalen Hurts. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say anymore. This is the closest he's looked like when he was at Oklahoma in terms of comfortable. Right, we talked about his little short time at Oklahoma where he actually aired it out a little bit and looked like a quarterback, unlike he did with Alabama. This is the closest thing to that we've seen, and this is his best performance, and it's not even close as the Eagles starting quarterback. And this is why if you believe in a kid and you think that a kid's a great kid, right, and a great leader and has those capabilities, you give him a little bit longer of a leash to see if he can develop. Right? And exactly what he did. You gave him his junior year, right? We talked about that on shows a lot last year, right? Even though we were critical, we talked about, hey, you still got to give him one more. Why not? Find out if he can be the guy. And after 2 weeks, he's shown right now he's the guy. A lot of football will have to be played, right? Can't get high, can't get too low, but us fans can, right? We can get high on it. And after 2 weeks, he's in the argument for in the MVP conversation in 2 weeks. If you're really 2 weeks, you're a 2-0 football team. He's played really well with his legs. I mean, how many total touchdowns does he have? 7? 6? I mean, I know he had 3 rushing. What do you have? 2 rushing today and 1 throwing. And then what do you have? 2 rushing last week.
It might be two and him.
Doing him. Guys we didn't believe in, really, right? Look at it. But listen, this is why you play. And you really judge your quarterbacks and you judge your whole football team on primetime games, right? You can find a lot about how tough of a football team you are when the lights are the brightest, right? We talk about it all the time, right? When lights get bright, who comes to play, all right? And he outperformed Kirk Cousins by a mile, all right? And he was the reason we won this football game tonight. Right, not only with his legs, he was on time, he was accurate, right? He made quick decisions, okay. And the ball to Goddard, the one that was dropped, actually, which was his best ball of the night. It's the best ball of the night. That ball's laid in there. That's what franchise quarterbacks do. And if you can do that and hurt teams with your legs, it's tough to slow you down. It's going to be tough to slow this offense down if he can continue to play this kind of football, right? I'm happy to sit here and say, hey, I was wrong. I was wrong last year in what I thought he was going to be. I never knew if he was going to turn it on or not. I'm not saying I was running him out of town because I was giving him this year, right? To prove us wrong. And his credit, 2 weeks in, he's proved us wrong. And I'm not on an island there. He's proved a lot of people wrong. And I love that story more than the rest. And this guy's just always been a winner. And we said if he could put together some other things and just show us growth, right? We might be winning 11, 12 games a year for a long time. I mean, we just might be. And Super Bowls, I don't know, but always being in a conversation, always winning football games, winning NFC East, division championships, like those things are also important, right? So we'll see where it goes. See where it goes. 2 games in. Well, I'm excited. I
like it, but you're talking about winning multiple NFCs. Let's win one.
No, I'm just making the point though. This is what kind of player if he turns into this type of player, right? You're going to be in that conversation every year. You're going to be in that conversation. If he's a franchise quarterback, that's how it works with franchise.
It's been a great 2 weeks.
It's been a great 2 weeks, but it's not even the 2 weeks. Okay, it's the growth.
It's what we wanted to see. Exactly.
It's the growth inside the 2 weeks, right? It's the growth.
He had a good year last year too. I mean, obviously until Tampa, he had a good year last year too. So
say whatever you want. He didn't insert us in the pocket at all last year like he did tonight, and that's huge signs moving forward. That's huge.
Yeah, improvement. That's what we always talk about. Improvement. He has obviously shown vast improvement. Clearly, he has worked on his game. His release looks great. His ball's on. He's on the money. And like you said, maybe his best throw of the day was the one that got it dropped. So it was great to see Devonta look good out there, running some good routes and getting him involved since obviously he didn't have a catch last week. And Goddard made some big plays. They just look good in the whole as a whole, we look good, which is great to say. We've been saying, all leading up, I think all of us were saying, we have a great roster on paper. We're like, how's Hurts going to play? Well, Hurts is playing good, and guess what? We do have a good fucking roster, so let's go. Giddy up.
Yeah, I just wanted all your guys' opinions, and then we'll get into more.
The road to 6-0 is paved clear.
Okay, Dolphins, calm down.
I'm just letting you know,
but I do say that. Look,
if you're a big dog, don't be 6-0, baby.
It looks like that it's probably the easiest stretch of the schedule, I would say, coming up. Yeah. If you're gonna look at the schedule as a whole.
Carson Wentz don't scare nobody. Sunshine's got fucking conditioner in his hair. Kyler Murray sucks, and no Dak. 6-0, yum, porridge time. 6-0, boys.
If we start, we'll fuck one of them up for sure.
I'm sure he will. But
if we start 6-0, it's going to get messy. It's going to get messy in here if we start 6-0. It's going to be real. We might just give him like 7 contracts by 6-0. It's going to get that aggressive.
Yeah, I'll go on the record saying 6-0 isn't happening. We'll call.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll fuck one of them games up. You mark that down. Probably the fucking Redskins. Our luck.
Wow, we got people talking.
But we look great. I mean, it looks great. We look great. It looks great. I'm very excited. How can you not be excited? And like you like everything. Obviously, AJ Brown was a great addition. He looks great so far through 2 weeks. Devonta looks good. Jalen looks amazing. He's running the ball hard. How about that fucking second? The long TD run? That was the second one, right? Where he just muscled his way through, just like I'm getting to the fucking end zone. Yeah. You love it. You love to
go out of bounds. Most guys go out of bounds.
To see it.
Most guys go out of bounds. I mean,
yeah, I love that shit.
Just great. Like you said, toughness.
I love every second of it. We always said I was just worried about him throwing from the pocket. Everything else about the kid I love, and now it looks like he's starting to develop the pocket throwing. Oh, I'm feeling great. Feeling great.
So we're losing next week, by the way. For these comments, we're losing next week. I'm putting on record. We are losing next week.
Washington.
Commander, the Redskins.
So this chat, I mean, 17-0. I'm getting.
Don't
flashbacks.
Get us canceled, Sweeps. Facebook might cancel us for that. Can't say that. Commanders.
No, what was also nice to see too is he kept his eyes downfield, except maybe one or two times when he was rolling out, looking for big plays. Right, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what we talked about, last week, and we talked about how when you're rolling out, well, hey, let's continue to look downfield. And today, especially, we had guys wide open, right?
Yeah,
and I think
right.
Again, one of the other great throws obviously was the TD to Quez. And I love how he didn't wait to see that it was open, right? He saw the safety bite with Goddard and just let it fly, right? I think last year he would have held on to that another second to ensure that Quez was open and then hit him. And you saw from the back end, as soon as he saw that safety bite with Goddard, that ball was out. And I think, again, we talk about the growth. We talk about the maturation of Jalen being in the pocket and doing those types of things. And the ball was then on the money. Right. And that's what, that's what we look for. And that's what we kind of hoped we would see. And we're starting to see it. And it's kind of getting exciting.
Yeah, that's what you want, Craig. Quick decisions and just let him go get it. Because if you hold it, then you underthrow him. You just let him go get it.
And even the one deep ball
and
he tried to go
Quez flies.
Yeah. Even the one deep ball he tried with AJ Brown on 101. I love the shot. Right. We didn't get it. It wasn't a completion. I don't think it was in bounds. But I love the shot and the go for it, with that pass. Like, go for it. Like, that's what you got AJ Brown for. He was out in front. We just missed the pass. But, hey, it happens. You got to show that you're going to go downfield.
Yeah, he did whatever he wanted tonight. I mean, 26 of 31, for 333. I mean, guy did whatever he wanted on the field tonight. And it was unbelievable to see. And, like I said, tip of the cap to the dude. It's just he's always been a winner. He's always had, he's been a high character guy. He's always been a great teammate. All that 600 plus squatting is coming into play now. Because that's a guy that doesn't go out of bounds. You know what I mean? Like he could have went out of bounds. Probably 30 quarterbacks in this league go out of bounds. You know what I mean? And he's just like, yeah, I'm going to stay in and I'm going to make some. And he found his way in the end zone. So that was just an incredible individual effort by him. The offensive line was awesome tonight again. All the stuff that we talked about, before the season. Like it's a very good roster, and they showed it. And I don't think, last week was as much of a scare as some people want to think. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just me. I've said, I've been on record saying that. I know it's the Hard Knocks people that want to fucking like throw fucking darts, and I'm not saying they're gonna fucking be a winning football team, but that Detroit Lions team is much improved. All right, I got news for you. You know what I mean?
Good lines. They have good lines.
Great coaches. All right, and he's trying to change the culture. And listen, that and that was on, and obviously it was on the road. So that wasn't as much of a as a surprise that people might have thought last week. And then you just come home opener, and just make an absolute statement. You know what I mean, on both sides of the ball. And you take nothing away from the Eagles. Talk about coaching. I mean, the Vikings coaching staff was a joke, right, on both sides of the ball. I mean, no adjustments. The defensive coordinator, right? I mean, no adjustments. And the Eagles were running wide open all night. All right, the offensive corner, I think, 6 handoffs to Dalvin Cook. Pretty bold strategy there, Cotton. You know what I mean? Like, I know the Eagles are pretty good at, against the run, but you might want to try that a little more.
Detroit ran all over us.
Yeah. I mean, you might want to. Well, their offensive line is awesome, but I hear you. They might be the only line better than the Eagles. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I'm just saying, like, if you watch the tape, might want to go ball over.
Only negative all night I have is too many penalties, right? And even throughout all that,
what about those fucking linemen downfield penalties?
Yeah, well, that's the only thing.
I was at work. Like, were they like obvious? Were we obviously downfield, or
one was. All the other ones were very selective.
I feel like the umps were nitpicking. The refs were nitpicking.
I think you can throw them flags anytime you want to throw those types of flags.
Like on those screens, you can throw that every fucking time.
Football, I want my family and friends in my neighborhood to make sure they know I'm reffing tonight. I'm on the big stage. Right? That's what that tells me. Okay, but through all that, which is too many penalties for my liking, you still dominated a football team. You flat out dominated a football team, and I'm not telling you it's a great football team. I'm telling you they're 500 or above.
They're mediocrely to I don't know what they're above mediocre.
But their offensive line stinks, in my opinion. I said that coming into this week. I didn't think they were good.
I think their D coordinator stinks.
I think he stinks too.
He's bad.
We had guys running wide open all game.
Wills, you know what it felt like, honestly, watching that game? And then I learned afterwards, they said in the broadcast that he was from the same, I don't know if it was the same coaching tree or whatever. It felt like we were playing against Jonathan Gannon.
Well, I was going to say it was a tough night to say that, because I said that earlier. I said he's the only coordinator worse than Gannon, right? But Gannon, tremendous job out of him tonight. Finally blitzing
14 blitzes, finally
blitzing and making things happen, which we've been calling for blitzes.
Two picks on the blitz, probably should have been 5
for years now.
5 picks.
Yeah, they dropped a bunch.
I think 3 drops.
Right? How many times have we said this? Pressure.
Yeah. And Slay ate Jefferson up, which you love to see.
When you get to a quarterback and in his face, you got a chance of a guy making a bad throw and being off his mark. It's just 101. So he deserves credit tonight.
No, and I echo your concern, especially with those types of penalties, the man downfield, because we run so many RPOs, and it's almost like, all right, is Jalen a half second late? Right, which is now then allowing them, or is what's going on? Was that not the original play? Is Jalen late, or is the offensive line just so giddy to go hit somebody that they're blasted out? Right, you know what I mean? Because you're right, that they all happen on those RPOs. I think only probably one was legit.
Well, the one where he double clutched, right, and then he threw it to Gainwell. That one was pretty obvious because it was obviously supposed to be quickly, so that was obvious. But the other two, seemed like. I only caught the replay because I was working, and then I tried to watch the replay, but I was like, it seemed like we were fine. Like, it seemed like the refs were nitpicking.
They weren't egregious, but they're being called. So
it's still got to work on it.
You got to then figure out, is it the offensive line that's got to sit then for a second more, or like you said, is Jalen that half second, that double pump, right, to where it's not that he's late, but he's just obviously doesn't have a window, and then it forces him to be late. So. Yeah, but those types are the concerning ones because we do so many RPOs.
Yeah, but it's one of them things, like if somebody doesn't make contact, and they're not egregiously downfield, I'm just going to shy away from it. But if there's contact after that threshold, right, then of course, then I get it. But if there's no one was on the right side of the field and the play was to the left, and I forget who the offensive lineman was, but he didn't even touch anybody. And he's literally 1.5 yards, maybe 2 downfield. He had nothing to do with the play.
That was the one on Sayamalu.
They're
the ones. They're the ones that sort of put my mind. They pretzel my mind up a little bit. I don't understand those, but
that offensive PI on Smith too.
The refs had a bad night.
He tried to avoid the contact.
The illegal contact on the Vikings was atrocious too. You know what I mean? So they were just, the refs were bad. Period. You know what I mean?
They didn't even know what time it was for the entire first half. They were we got to adjust the clock. It's like, can we figure it out now? Can we figure it out?
It sounds like that they were looking for that. Like someone was like, watch them for being a yard downfield, and they were like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like, the Eagles do this 25% more than other teams, so look for it. Tom, to your initial question, I'm honestly stunned how good we feel after this game, and that's not to say I think our team stinks. I think I was always happy about our team. I just thought all week that it was going to be one of these nights. I clearly drastically overvalued the Vikings. I don't know if it was just like, again, one of those nights in a bad sense for them, or Kirk Cousins. We know Kirk Cousins stinks in prime time, really stinks on Monday Night Football. But it was like a perfect mixture of like Jonathan Gannon adjusted to some things, to your point, from all of your points, honestly, from earlier. There's still some things where like, Jonathan, you need to like take the sunglasses off and like see what you're doing here. Hassan Reddick's still playing in coverage. I literally don't understand what that is. It was a perfect mixture, though, of him finally sending some guys, and the Vikings, just full transparency, they were an absolute mess. I mean, they couldn't catch a freaking ball in the second half for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, so we got gifted too. But again, I'm not going to be somebody like, I saw a couple people in the chat being like, oh, well, guys, if those drops were caught, then it's a closer game. Well, guess what? They were drops. They weren't caught. So that's all I care about.
Yeah. If your aunt had a dick, she'd be your uncle.
Thank you.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah, I was waiting for the perfect cue. I knew somebody was going to do it.
It's 2022. It's 2022. She might.
Yeah, can't even say that no more.
Nope.
Joke doesn't even work anymore. Sweet.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah.
How long has A2D been around? That joke doesn't even work anymore.
Boom.
The Jalen Hurts thing was unbelievable, though. I mean, Sweeps, we talked about it before we came on the air. Like, how many times did I say in the A2D chat, like, oh, we're doing this tonight? Like, I didn't expect this. And I never thought Hurts sucked. I just thought, like, oh, Hurts is a middle-of-the-road quarterback that's going to be able to use his legs, but how much is he going to be able to do with his arm? And I think the number one thing, at least on Wednesday, that we harped on, Greg and Tom, you'll know this, especially, was the fact that he got out and ran in week 1, but he kept his foot, his head down, and he just looked to run and win with his feet. And that's fine. He can clearly do it. But we said, what's it going to look like when he gets out and runs and he keeps his head up and he looks to throw? Well, this was the result. And we see, oh, wait, he is capable of that. And they just picked him apart. And the other thing I think was like the first, like week 1 biggest overreaction, especially for Eagles fans, was, and I thought it was a stupid overreaction, which was like, oh, you're throwing it to A.J. Brown too much. And like we said in week 1, oh, A.J. Brown is pretty damn good at what he does, so it's not a bad thing to throw him the ball. But just the variety. I mean, you had Dallas Goedert with 5 catches, Devontae with 7, Quez with 2, A.J. with 5, Pascal with 2, Miles Sanders with 3 catches. And you had Goddard with 82 yards, Smith with 80, Quez Watkins with 69, A.J. Brown with 69. So completely spread out the football while Hurts was a threat with his legs. So I think Aikman said it, before they signed off. If this is going to be Jalen Hurts, they can play with anybody. Like, it's not so much of like, hey, we can't beat good quarterbacks or you can't beat good defenses. If you're getting anything like that, and this is in a performance where you scored 0 in the second half, so we weren't perfect by any means, it's going to be scary for quite a while.
Well, if he plays like this, they're the favorite in the NFC.
Yeah.
Real quick.
I was gonna say, I'd say we're pretty damn good.
16
We're
completions.
definitely winning the NFC East.
Yeah. It's just to trump Troy. I mean, Troy made a great point, but to trump him even more, like if he's like this, Troy, I got news for you, because the NFC is not loaded, right? It's not. There's good teams. Us included. Like there's good teams, but any one of these good teams can really push ahead of the rest of them and say, hey, I'm the best team in the
we're here.
And this team roster wise, arguably is. But what we talked about before we came into the season, roster wise, we all thought we were a top four team minimum in the NFC. But the question came down to, who is Jalen Hurts? Well, through 2 games, Jalen Hurts is a franchise quarterback.
He's a dude.
And we're feeling pretty good about ourselves here in Philadelphia.
Another thing I love, we talked about last week, 11 rushes from Jalen. Right? We talk about being in that 10 to 12, 10 to 15. Once you get past that, it kind of almost gets egregious from him. Right? Now you're in that more controlled range, and it felt like nothing was rushed or nothing was forced from him. Right? And I think that's the most important part.
Right. At your point, everybody's distribution of the football from the backs and the wide receivers. I mean, you're talking about 8 guys that catches. I mean, that's what franchise guys do. Franchise guys spread it around the world. So you're not going to get you're not going to get you're not going to lock on the one guy. Week 1, like you said, okay, yeah. I mean, your best wide receiver got a lot of footballs. Well, that's what happens if you don't want to put your best corner on him.
I was gonna say if he's 1-on-1, he's gonna get a lot of balls. That's how that's gonna work.
But this proved you can win a different way too. Today, the first 2 weeks you've shown ways to win in different ways, right? This week is, hey, I'm going to sit in the pocket and make throws in different parts of the field that franchise guys make. And you don't got to have a howitzer, right? You just got to be on time. If you're on time and accurate with the football, this is the kind of success you can have, especially if you want to. And we said one thing about Jalen, no matter if we were critical of him or not, he definitely wants to get better. Will it pay off for him? Nobody had that crystal ball. We hoped because I think I speak for everybody in Philadelphia. If you don't like him as a kid, I think you're a jackass, right? You know what I mean? You're probably somebody I don't want in my corner ever. So if you didn't like him as a kid or didn't think he had great leadership capabilities, X, Y, and Z, then I don't know what you were ever looking at, right? But if you have problems inside the pocket, everybody was in that corner a little bit. Not that he wasn't a winner, not that he couldn't win you football games. Can he do it enough? Well, today's the first step in that direction, and in a big way, because he proved he can. He proved he can. I'm not calling 85 Bears didn't walk in, 2,000 Ravens didn't walk in, right? But a good football team walked in on Monday Night Football, and you made every throw in the tree, right? And every throw in the route tree
Absolutely.
he made tonight. And we're gonna break down his performance on Monday Night Football a little deeper and what this means for the Eagles moving forward, this season. And you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves because you got a lot of football to play. But me moving forward is like next week. I go in the next week and I just want to see that growth, right? Not like it doesn't have to be better than this week. It just has to be consistent with this week. Like, are you going to make mistakes? Are you going to have bad balls? Are you going to have bad weeks? Yeah, they're also going to happen to them too, right? But in those weeks, are you playing winning football? I think the best thing you say about Jalen Hurts is he's going to play winning football. He's going to be unselfish at the quarterback position. Would you say, well, Tom, every quarterback's unselfish? That's not true. That's not true. Okay. And he's unselfish. He just wants to win football games. He don't give a shit if he wins 2-0 and he has the worst passing day. Like, he'll care about his own performance. Don't get me wrong, obviously, but he's just trying to win games. And I truly believe that about him. And when you have a guy like that who can do it with his legs too, and then shows he can do it with his arm, man, I mean, I haven't seen many quarterbacks in this league like develop like that. Coming in, like saying this guy can't throw from the pocket, this guy can't do certain things. I haven't seen many quarterbacks that do that really change their stripes and what they're able to do. It says a lot about the freaking kid. Again, 2 weeks, but it says a lot.
Yeah, and it's the same defense that, the great Aaron Rodgers did nothing against. I know he's playing with a bunch of guys from UPS that, Wilson, has, lunch with, you know what I mean? But I don't give a shit. He's a great Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? And you didn't do anything. All right. So, to your point though, you know what I mean? Like I said, you're getting to the level where it's like, do we have to keep saying that? Like, well, it wasn't the 85 Bears or there's great defenses, not shot at you. I'm just saying, like, overall, like, cause it's like, I think the guy's going to do it. It's all going to come down to the postseason for him. Right. Cause we know, we know that, it looks like, in the last year and 2 weeks that kid's a playmaker. You know what I mean? And that moment was probably the biggest, probably the biggest for him, in Tampa in a playoff, atmosphere. And I get it. That was his first one, a little tasty post. So, you're hoping as an Eagle fan that there's more to come of that. But that was probably the only time he's ever really looked lost to me. You know what I mean? And,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
And granted, that's not a great time to look lost, but hey, first time,
yeah.
Look twice to me.
First time, long time,
Twice to me. That game and the one Giants game were the only times he was really lost. And that Giants game, he made some throws at the end of that game that put us in a chance to win that football game.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Two huge drops in that game. Yep, absolutely, buddy.
But the first half was like, might be Gardner time, right? Because that's how bad it was.
Yeah. Oh, might need a mince.
It was bad. It was bad. Obviously,
Greg had the jersey on.
This is why you don't want him running 15 times a week, because you don't want him banged up, because in that game he was a little bit banged up and he wasn't the same. I mean, I need him to be electric. I need him to be able to move and shake because, again, these guys are getting paid to put pressure on you. So Pressure's going to come in some shape or form. Are you able to elude it? And like we talked about and Greg just spoke about, are you able to elude it and keep your eyes downfield? And I thought today it was a prime example of him doing that. Like he was looking to pass first and say, hey, if you're going to give it, if you're going to give me some space, then I'm just going to take off because I'm going to play winning football. And some of them rushing TDs, they're not even right, dude. Like there ain't our lead back ain't lowering his shoulder like that. You know what I mean?
Well,
our lead back ain't running you over like that. And
Miles definitely not. Yes.
No.
He played well tonight, though.
He did.
He was fine. Yeah, he was good.
He played really well tonight. You might have had that one run that you commented on in the thing, but I thought everything else he did was north-south. And the biggest play is he picked up Dantzler on that blitz.
Yes.
Early on in the game.
Listen, I've done nothing against Miles so far this year. I want him to except for keep your fucking feet and just get north and south instead of he always bounces. Don't bounce. Just get north and south. Besides that, I have nothing against Miles. He's played well.
He's had really 2 good weeks. Yep.
You're right, Tommy. He's not running anybody over.
No, I'm just joking. Like he's not a goal line run you over cat.
Yes.
Like our lead back. I'm not taking a shot at him. It's not who he is.
Yeah.
Right. But tonight he played well.
Boston Scott might run harder.
Yeah, Boston Scott might down on the goal line might run harder for sure. But
lower center of gravity.
Miles had a great night tonight again. Like, you average over 4.5 yards per carry. You're having good nights.
Yeah,
he had a very good night.
Like I said, if he stays healthy, he's on pace for
caught the ball and was thrown to him.
Yep.
He stays healthy, he's on pace for like 1,300 yards.
That was the biggest thing last year.
I think
How many balls did he drop last year?
I think
How many balls he dropped last year?
Well, he dropped a lot of footballs.
He dropped a lot of footballs last year.
But even
catch the ball when it's thrown to you.
I saw the Vikings late trying to take the ball out of his hands, late in the football game. And I'm like holding my breath, and I'm like, then I'm proud of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he held the ball.
I'm proud of you because you're grown. I mean, listen, your quarterback can take as much criticism as toss his way, and he just wants to keep getting better. I think a lot of other guys around the National Football League can learn something from that. High and tight. Especially the guy that played for Minnesota tonight. You can learn something from it. You can learn something that criticism.
Oh, you like that?
And what expected from you. No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the punter.
Okay.
Criticism and maybe wanting somebody else and all that stuff. It's all part of the business, right?
He got a nice chorus of boos tonight.
Great. Oh yeah, every time.
As I didn't realize what was going on when I first had the game on. I'm like, what are we booing so hard for right now? And it's like Jalen Reagor back deep. I'm like, that's what it is.
He was taunting the crowd. It's like, dude, do you remember your Jalen Reagor? You're not your now teammate Jefferson. You're Jalen Reagor. You like getting on a plane doesn't make you not suck. You still suck.
You couldn't even try to find like a highlight tape of him. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the NFL level.
I think he had like a 6-yard carry in the game today.
No, it was 17.
It was like an end around or something.
I wasn't even sure. I saw him go down I was like, oh, that's Reagor.
Yeah, how did he not
and one catch for 7 yards?
Like how did he not come? Like how did he not come up with food poisoning today? Like there's no way like you could show your face. Like I can't even believe that. Like he walked, it's like the locker room. It's like from Major League. He walks in from like Major League. It's a quad thing. It's a thigh thing. It's a heart attack.
Actually, that's the first heart attack. The more I look back on it, I'm like, I can actually give him some credit for showing up because there was a star in this city who didn't show up. He ran away from playing here. That's Benjamin. We'll see him in about a month or so.
I have 3 quick things.
Leave some milk out. He'll come home.
Yeah.
Milk me, fucker.
You can milk anything with nipples, Tom.
I have 3 quick things on Hurts, by the way. In the first half, Hurts 301 total yards in the first half was the most by an Eagles quarterback since Michael Vick 12 years ago against Washington. Jalen Hurts was also the first player in NFL history to have.
That was a phenomenal game.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to get too high when I heard that stat earlier.
Yeah, that game against Washington was crazy.
Then
been here talking about 15 and 2 or 15 and 1 at the time. 15 and 1.
Then definitely sit on your hands for this one because this one's a good one also. Jalen Hurts is the first player in NFL history to have the following: 300+ passing yards, 80+ completion percentage, and a rush for multiple touchdowns in a single game. And finally, This is also a name that we like in the city. Sweeps, you brought him up before the show.
Wow, hold on. So 80% completion percentage,
Correct.
over 300 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Correct.
First quarterback ever?
Correct.
Ever.
Well, it's not a lot.
Well, 80%.
That's 80% completion
tight window.
percentage.
Damn it.
300 yards and 2 rushing
That's a tight
touchdowns.
window.
That's a
That's
lot.
a tight
That's a lot
window,
of
Tom.
things. That's a lot of things.
How you acting like that was 1 + 1 is 2?
Yeah,
You
that's
were-
a lot
you
of
were-
things, Tom. That's a lot of things there. That's a lot of things there.
A lot of things, but football's been around for a long time too. So it
Yeah.
didn't just start. I figured maybe somebody ran into one. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
Well, speaking of running, and Sweeps, you brought up this name earlier.
he's not like real quick. He's not like he's the first running quarterback that we've seen in the league. I mean, guys been running around at the quarterback position forever.
They ain't thrown for 300.
Yeah. Or no.
Or
They're not-
80%.
they're not-
It's
80%
80%.
completion percentage.
No, but there was a lot of guys back in the day that I thought could have. If you put a gun to my head at like one game, there was
Well, it's the two touchdown runs is the key though. Who
tell me
has 2 TD runs in a game?
Frank the Tank back in the day.
Who, like Steve McNair maybe, but
Mark
usually those guys have 1 touchdown run though. If they
And
have a touchdown
80%
run.
is that's tough.
No,
Yeah, 80% guys are running wide open. Like
I
today.
got you, but if you don't go for 80%, you think somebody else sniffed it one time. You know what I mean? I don't know.
80% with 2 rushing tutties though. That's
I understand it's a big body of work. I'm saying the league didn't start last week. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Tom,
Ow.
it's either a crazy feat or John Clark is a liar because that's where I got the stats. So it's one of the
no,
two.
that is a
No,
crazy. It's just a crazy feat.
Regardless, I'm not saying it. It's one of the craziest feats I've ever heard. I'm just shocked that not one other person did it. That's amazing that Jalen Hurts, the guy who not only rushes for 2 touchdowns but throws for 80%. Like that's amazing. That's awesome. Like I'm shocked. It makes me want to like slide the contract over to him now. 150 million. 150 million. You gonna leave it?
There's probably, like you said, there's probably like a lot of things. There's probably a lot of things that haven't happened. So if you look under a rock and you don't Google it like Greg, if you don't let Greg Google it, I'm sure you can find a lot of things that are like first. You know what I mean? You can probably be like, oh shit, that never happened.
Sweeps. That's why I made sure I handled the numbers tonight. I made sure I jumped in.
Greg would tell us that's happened already. By the way, he would be like, "Oh, sorry guys, Dante Culpepper did it."
Like Jalen Hurts is 40 next month. Happy birthday.
Yeah. That's why Jordan Davis wasn't on the field. He just retired. He's 36. The other stat really quick, and Sweeps, you brought up his name earlier before the show. Jalen Hurts' 26-yarder is the longest touchdown run by an Eagles quarterback since Donovan McNabb had a 40-yarder against the Giants at the Vet in 2002.
Oh, the Washington one was 0-1. No, Washington one was 2000.
Early.
Right?
The Washington one was
Mark Carrier. That was 2000.
Vic didn't have
That
like
was 2000.
Vic didn't have a 40-yarder.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Vic didn't have a 40.
Yeah, Vic didn't have a 40-yarder.
No, you know what though?
I
I
guess
think
not for a
a lot of Vics were like for 4 yards. He had a lot of like 35 or 40-yard runs not for touchdowns.
Yeah,
Remember that Giants one drive, he had like 2 35-yard runs.
Yeah.
Like one from like way back in the end zone to like the 50 and another one to like the 20.
It's funny. Who brought up surprise Vic didn't have it? Did you say that, Sweeps?
Yeah.
The first comment on this thread is, man, I'm really surprised Mike Vick never had one, just like the first comment.
Well, Mike Vick never threw for 80% in his fucking life.
No.
The rushing touchdown.
Just the longest rushing yard.
Okay.
They were
Talk about it.
We switched stats.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts. My fault, Will. My fault.
a while ago. Somebody said Steve Young, the other stat, and
Steve Young's not a
That's
bad name.
another name I thought of.
I would be like, I could see him pulling that off. Like I could see it. But listen, you're right though.
It's the two.
In today's day and age, you literally can make up the first for anything. Like, you know what I mean? If you put enough things together, like if I put 5 on the chalkboard, nobody's ever done this, right? Which is funny. That's just today's day and age.
Hey, George. George, you high?
And lost. You're both. George?
Appreciate the comment.
Yeah,
Love it.
thanks. I don't agree, but thanks.
Is this the guy who wrote?
I mean, hey, money night for you guys next week.
I think that's
Is this the guy who wrote the thing on Facebook saying that like,
I think so.
like Rush is going to come in and he's like Tom Brady 2.0?
I think so.
He's got his picture.
Is this you, George? George,
Yeah,
literally. George, I would tell you,
it's
there's a
George
big ball
Rush.
in Dallas. Hey, there's a big ball in Dallas, George. You probably heard of it. I would
Mr.
literally go. I would go on top of that and rotate for a while, Georgie. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
Mr. Rush, thanks for joining
Yes,
us.
George Rush, it's good to see you.
Thanks for stopping by.
Also,
Cooper
if this-
Stad's here.
Also, if this is actually like the George, based off of how he typed in that post, Tom, I kind of want to ask George, do you need medical attention, George? Because I don't know. Some of the things you were typing in that post, I was like, oh, okay. George, it might not be okay right now. New John Clark stats, Slay had 2 more catches than wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
No, he had one more catch.
No, he didn't want more catch.
Because Ted, he had a
dropped 2.
he had a catch tonight.
Ted too.
He had a catch. One Jalen Reagor.
Speaking of Slay, he said in his press conference the other INT ball will go to his son because Justin Jefferson is his son's favorite receiver.
Smart kid.
Nice little savage move there.
Use him on draft night. He's my son in the room. Chris, but I think that's what he comes with when you talk about Jalen Hurts. He said, excellent post game by Jalen right now. Real understanding of the city and what they want from him.
Yeah, smart. He's a smart kid.
I think he gets it.
He definitely gets it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
He 100% gets it.
She does.
Yeah, he was like I said, he was subdued
I'm excited.
right afterward on the field talking to Lisa Salters. Like, hey, we
I
didn't
kinda
live
wanna
up
get
to our
drunk
potential. You know, we still got to finish. We didn't do well in the second half. I'm like, we're good though, bro. We're good.
No, he's like that, but that's how you
But
gotta
yeah,
be,
no,
though,
completely agree.
I
yeah.
like that. I like that. You left stuff out there. You know, that's the key for that's franchise QB talk.
Yeah.
Oh, we left stuff on the field.
Oh yeah.
Want to get in there and fix a few things up.
Oh, they put it in your locker.
Clean a few things up.
It's like throwing a piece of paper in your locker. Like when you become a franchise quarterback,
like the
it's
Bull
like,
Durham talk.
hey, you gotta say this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Hey man, I need you to say this stuff. All right.
Yeah.
I think
He's
it was
trying to
only
get
one or
better
two-
every day.
1 day at a time. I love it.
I think it was only 1 or 2 times, so I'm glad it wasn't more. But towards the end of that third quarter and into the fourth quarter, when obviously the game was kind of, in our hands and we were just trying to milk it, I don't need Jalen to do any design runs on there. Let the running backs take the hits.
Yeah, I don't know who that was. Yeah, and that might have been an RPO that he just holds on to.
Yeah, I don't need that though. Hand it off.
Yeah, when you got a big lead, I'd
Or
rather
get
not
out of
take any
bounds.
hits, honestly. Don't take any hits when we have a big lead.
That's what the running backs are for. We don't need this guy banged up.
I will shout
24/7.
out our punter, Siposs, not really for his punting, but for chasing that dude down after the blocked field goal. Great job.
Yeah, save 7 points.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. Great job.
That becomes a 10-point game, and I'm not saying the Vikings win because I don't think they do. But the momentum shifts. That's all. It's a momentum shift, and then can you withstand it?
Yeah,
Right?
it's a great job. Yeah,
And that's all that would have happened, and you
But
stop.
it gets me closer to the over. So
yeah. I would have been upset. I wouldn't have been upset with that because I also bet the over.
Well,
But I bet a lot more on the Eagles. So
me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I had enough work. Yeah, exactly. Well,
And I always look at it like I always look at the other side as well. Like, tremendous play by Siposs, but the Vikings dude is cut tomorrow morning.
yeah. How do you
cut
not?
tomorrow morning.
How do you not outrun?
He's
Siposs
not even.
And
He
how
doesn't
does
even.
Siposs tackle?
Yeah, he doesn't even get on the fucking bus. It's like, excuse me, sir.
I might have slowed down and just put Siposs on the floor.
That fucking dude's cut.
He's taken.
We fucking block a field goal, and you get caught by the punter.
Can't sit here.
Yeah, but it's one thing if you have to scramble to pick it up a little bit. You don't pick it up cleanly, and a guy comes get you from behind. You were 15 yards ahead of him.
Oh
Yeah. He was rolling.
Score on that, and he looked like DK Metcalf chasing you down.
Yeah.
That's never happened.
Yeah.
Siposs looked like he's running a 4-2, a 4-2 flat. Like, is this
And
guy playing Tim's? Is that
even if he's that quick, though, you got to realize it's the punter. You slow down, and just push him to the fucking ground. Okay, get away from me.
the guy who picked it up though?
Well, I think we confirmed something too, that Siposs is way faster than Jalen Reagor too. Because Siposs has the speed that how we thought Reagor had coming out of the draft.
You should have drafted him.
Yeah, just keep him.
20th.
Way
Should have
cheaper.
drafted him 20th.
Undrafted free agent.
That's great.
Oh, Siposs. Good play out of Siposs, though. Good job.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Siposs needs to be tight end too.
He's our Don Beebe Award winner of the week. Siposs.
Patty P blocked that too, by the way. Like, life is, he's fallen from the tree dramatically. He's on, special teams guy now.
I want to ask you guys, because the answer will probably be a little bit different for everybody. What part of the second half, or maybe even the first half, did you say, okay, I'm good? Like this, not that this is over because it's the NFL and there's a ton of comebacks, but it's like, all right, I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this type thing, where all pressure was off.
The first Kirk Cousins pick by Slay.
The first drive coming out of the half.
Yep, ball game was over. As soon as he picked that off, ball game.
Yeah, probably right before the half. Like I told these guys, like you couldn't be like I alluded to 5 minutes ago. You couldn't get a worse coach game from the Vikings on both sides, right? And the head coach, he'd have got it. Like I'd love to be an owner. That's why God didn't grace me with any money because I would just fire everybody, right? He doesn't even make it he doesn't even make it past halftime, right? He thought right before the half, with 20 seconds left, was his time to get the Eagles. Well, you didn't move the ball the whole half. He thought the Eagles were handing the ball off and were content to go to the half, all right, with the score the way it was. And this guy said, oh, yeah, give me a timeout. I got what we're going to do here. We're going to force a punt, and then our offense is going to kick it in, baby. And here we come. You fucking moron. Oh, my God. So happy the Eagles got a 3 there. And that's when I knew the game was over because I was watching, an atrocious Vikings team led by fucking morons. All right, I'm done.
Right?
I'm just gonna say earlier than that, in a weird way. Like when after we went up 14-0, it just
I almost wanted to say before the game, but I didn't want to go that far back. Because my dude I work with tonight he said to me, how do you know the Eagles are going to win? I said, it's very simple. Kirk Cousins has the worst record of any player ever on Monday Night Football. Any quarterback ever. Worst record ever. There it is. That's the reason that the Eagles are going to win. Right there. Sealed. And it was right.
I just thought that they looked out of sync offensively a little bit. We looked to be doing whatever we wanted. So,
we definitely did whatever we wanted.
What was it? The Quez touchdown the last one?
The Quez TD, yeah.
Yeah, the Quez TD sort of made me feel like after that, like we're going to do whatever we want. Mm-hmm. It looked like offensively for the whole game if we needed to. And defensively, like I said, we looked different. We were making open field tackles. Like we just looked engaged, right? And it sort of just made me feel comfortable that we were going to win this game. But even though I'm saying like, hey, it's the NFL, like there's a lot of comebacks this week. I put my hands under my butt cheeks and sit. You know what I mean? Like I would say standing up and walking around. That's how I operate. Even though deep down I felt like it was over.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was the Quez touchdown because of we ended up hitting them in another way, right? We got that deep ball then. And had we had taken the field goal, like had we had not been blocked and then returned, I probably would have picked that drive because to come all the way down from the 5-yard line. See who else? Come all the way down from the 5-yard line to get a field goal right there. I think I said was going to be huge. Obviously, they didn't get it.
I always says technical difficulties. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they did get it at the end.
We're in the middle of Greg's montage, but I mean, it's just Berto taking the peace sign. Tommy's waving at him. It's just
Greg got something wrong right there. Greg got something wrong,
but it still was the Quez.
Oh, jeez.
The answer was still the same.
We could have glazed right over that, but Tommy's like, this is an opportunity. I have to absolutely stick this guy with a fork right now. I got to
elaborate so bad that he elaborates too much.
I got to freak this guy.
Quit while you're ahead. You just got to quit while you're ahead. You're doing so well.
Shift down on the elaboration.
I agree with Wilson's first answer before he cut out there. It was honestly the first interception by Kirk Cousins coming out of the half because it showed me, as it showed everybody, that like we could play as bad as possible on defense, which we did. That's when it was like, oh, I'm Jonathan Gannon. I think it's a great idea to have Hassan Reddick play like he's freaking Jalen Ramsey. And somebody like that's never supposed to do that ever. And you still didn't score a single point. It's like you marched down the field coming out of half, like all the doubters like, oh, maybe they adjusted all that. And he throws a pick. And it was an ugly Kirk Cousins Monday Night Football pick.
Basically threw the ball up. Yeah, I feel like he just threw the ball up for grabs all night. Like it was. It was just awful.
Well, they brought the blitz up the middle, and the blitz up the middle on a guy like that puts him in a bad situation always, and that's a recipe for success against a quarterback that's not mobile, and that will just toss him up. You know what I mean? And that's the Kirk Cousins special right there. You know, that's why there's some throws you watch tonight, and you're like, that guy's elite. Look at that throw. There's a couple of them to Thielen. They're like, that's an elite throw. And
two to Phelan were unbelievable.
And then the back foot throw ups, right, is why he's Kirk, right? I mean, that first one, dude, just throw it away. Just launch that one away. You know what I mean, you can't throw a pick down there at that time in the game. When you're driving down the field to start the half,
and like even
back, you're sort of making us feel uncomfortable a little bit, right? To your guys' point, why that pick was the dagger, right? Like you asked me when I felt like it was over. I felt like it was over a little bit before that, but that pick was the dagger nail in the coffin, saying this is a wrap. This is night because that you just took all the momentum that they may have had and you took it right back on your side. Something we didn't do well last week, but our blitzes were timely. But again, I agree. There's certain things I could do without. Like I never need to see Hassan Reddick, especially when our front does not put pressure on the quarterback. I could do without seeing him dropping back in coverage ever. I don't know why. I said it last week. We all did. We're saying it again this week. If we're going to nitpick, that's nitpick shit. But it's the truth. That's the truth because that shit will bite you. Like, what are you getting cute for? You think he's going to pick a ball off and you're going to look like the smartest guy in the room? Like, it doesn't, you're not disguising it. Like, you're letting an offense know, hey, this is what we're doing here. You know, and you can't do that.
Yeah, I was trying to be professional, but I like to change my answer to when Minnesota, when the plane landed. That's when the game was rising.
Well, I think the crazy thing too, guys, is like even for those who picked them to win, like the Eagles to win, their leading receiver, unless these numbers are just completely lying to me, it was Adam Thielen for 52 yards.
Yeah, and he got all of it like in the last fucking quarter.
So
he
like,
literally did not have a catch until the fourth.
Which is wild to me because like I understand everybody was focused on Jefferson and then
he was trying to just force it to Jefferson.
Yeah,
and 12 targets.
Like I said,
12 targets.
He just was throwing it up to him.
Yeah, exactly. Right at the end there, like
we don't have an all-pro fucking corner on
it. There, and they had 2nd and goal. He survived a Slay drop, and then he went back to a back foot fade and got picked off. It's like
And Slay said, "Thank you. I'll catch this one."
Yeah,
sweeps. He started. You remember when we were shooting baskets at the thing the other night? He was trying. When they got in the red zone, it was like Kirk Cousins was trying to do fadeaways. It's like, dude, you're playing football. You're not Harden, and the lights are on. It's like, dude, wrong sport, my friend. We'll take it.
The beard was there tonight too.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think Slay gave him a pick.
Yeah, he gave him the first ball. That pick was so huge too. Not only just in the momentum of the game, which absolutely turned it and kind of nailed the hammer down, but you could also tell how much Slay could tell what Jefferson was doing, right? Because he ended up starting running his routes for him almost immediately, right? Like he had that first deflection early in that first drive, and then they kind of went away from him for a little bit, and then right there in the beginning of the second half, comes out, gets that pick, and runs the route for him, goes to where he needs to go. And then, it was like it was done from there because he started running the routes. And it was good to see.
Yeah, that was as great as Jefferson is, and he's still, a young wide receiver. You know what I mean? So not only did he give him his lunch tonight, he should watch that. He should watch that film because, like you said, he gave up on. Not only was Slay running the routes for him, but Jefferson kind of gave up on some of his routes too. And that's why, and Kirk's not the kind of guy that's not vocal or anything. He's obviously, looks like your next door neighbor in a bowling shirt. You know what I mean? So he's not going to get in anybody's face. You know what I mean? But like, if you're a leader, like I grab him by the, I would have grabbed him by the face mask, but. Cousins knows he's primetime Kirk, and he knows that he's taking a shit as well. So I guess he felt like he wasn't going to, get in somebody's dish. But for that pick you're talking about in the end zone, that was that's on Jefferson. I mean, he's Kirk thinks he's going to a spot, and he doesn't even fight for it. Like he's Slay undercut it and beat him to the spot, and it wasn't even close.
It's almost like, and I'm not trying to get in Jefferson's head or anything, and by no means, like, he's still a great wide receiver and have plenty of great games. Like, this doesn't change his outlook, but it's almost like Jefferson had in his mind, I don't know if it was after last week or whatever, last season, I'm going to have it so easy because A, nobody can keep up with me, or so he thought. And B, because coming into this game, I thought Adam Thielen being healthy for the first time in about 2.5 years was going to be a big factor. Clearly it wasn't until late in the game, like Wilson said, like he didn't have a catch until late. But it was almost like Jefferson thought, hey, I'm going to be open all the damn time, so I'm not going to have to really win too much, really fight for anything. And Darius Slay played, and he's had some really good games, but he had by far his best game as an Eagle.
Yeah, he was definitely
hands up here. This was Monday Night Football. This was Monday Night Football tonight, right? And Justin Jefferson pregame.
MNF.
Yeah, but Justin Jefferson pregame had the shades on, right, like in the dark, right? And
if you remember, he kind of gave it to Slay last year. We kind of gave Slay a bunch of shit last year. Jefferson gave it to him. Well,
I think if you watch film from
Slay
week
gave it to him tonight.
To your point, if they watch film from week one, they're going to see that, Detroit sort of did what they wanted at times, it seemed like, against us, and they probably thought the same way a little bit.
No, I like what Proto said, because you feel like I love Jefferson, but I feel like he's getting a little oatsy. You know what I mean? And he's had, he had obviously had a year for the ages last year, and obviously week one, and we know what kind of talent he is. He's not, but he was feeling a little oatsy, and he got asked this week, about, I guess, Philly passing on him, and he's talking about being happy to, of course, you're in Minnesota, so I don't expect you to say anything bad. But then it was like, yeah, I'm excited to get to that atmosphere, because they're the games, that, you love to go in there and win, with that kind of atmosphere. So it wasn't like he was saying, anything egregious, but it was almost like, just say next question. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a Viking. There's no reason to, there's no reason. Eagles didn't take me. So.
I heard something, and I wish I had known earlier in the week, because maybe I would have predicted the Eagles to win instead of the Vikings. But I heard this morning, I forget it was either their last 18 or 19 games, the Vikings, when they've played outdoors, they've lost all but 2 of them. Like, that's a wild stat. And I understand, like, I didn't want to look too much into it, even hearing it this morning, because I don't like comparing, like, different teams, because you can get better. But if that's actually factual, that they've lost 16 or 17 of their last, let's say, 20 outdoor games, I mean, that's a gigantic stat.
Oh, they're all also road games.
Sure.
Tougher to win on the road.
But that's why they're a mediocre. That's why they're never a playoff team.
Yeah.
That's just who they are. That's who they've been. And even when they were, a playoff team and made a run to a title game, they are what they were. They were a great home team, right? And that's just what.
Yeah, they got by that luck. Fucking dude tackled fucking Lene Kakua. Stephon Diggs just ran to the end zone. Remember the dude just tackled the air? That's how they won.
Marcus Williams, I believe his name was.
Yep. Marcus Williams.
I almost said Marcus Smith, but that's our guy. That's our guy. Wrong.
That's our miss. That's our miss tackle.
No, I don't like. I shouldn't have brought his name up.
Oh, don't be. Tommy had him going for 9 sacks one year, I think.
There were some amazing shows back then. That's old school ATD.
Well, you gotta look under rocks,
That was one where you and Ross
I think when you said it, I was gonna say, I think when you said it, we were like 9 tackles, maybe not 9 sacks.
You guys got like in a big argument. One of you guys walked out. It was in the Mount Ephraim studio. It was like,
oh shit.
Tom was a big guy, walker outer.
Yeah, he's Tom's walked out of a couple shows.
Yeah. I don't think
he always comes back.
He doesn't like to get up.
He's like your dog. He'll always come back.
Sorry, I brought that up, Tom. I'm sorry.
He's got nothing. He's like, yeah,
I'm a puppy.
He'll come back. Yeah, just leave a treat down. He'll come back.
Yeah, he came back with fruit snacks, I think. Because you and Sweeps are like, oh, we ran him out. And then Tom came back 2 minutes later. He's like, I was just getting fruit snacks.
Could have been ran out too.
It's a good cover though. Fruit snacks.
Decided to get the fruit snacks on the way back in.
While you're there, one in
While
Rome.
I'm out there. Ryan Swoop says, is the Kobe Dean going to play? Why not use more of a 3-4? I don't know. I mean, you could just use a 4-3. You could use a 3-4 and just let Hassan rush the passer. But in terms of him, I don't know about Nakobe. I mean, it's okay. TJ Edwards played great tonight. So
yeah, I thought TJ Edwards was all over the field.
So, if that continues, I mean, let the guy develop and get better, right? I think Jordan Davis he definitely played snaps tonight. I don't know if it was more than last week. That won't come out till tomorrow.
I mean, they're young.
Snap counters, but I'm sure that the eyes told me he played 20 plus. But they also, I don't know how many plays they ran offensively anyway. You know what I mean?
Well,
They were on the field a lot early in the game.
They really weren't.
They
never
only
got
ran
no rhythm.
They only ran 11 times the entire game, like rushing.
Well,
Rushing.
I think they only had the ball for 4 minutes in the first quarter.
Not making excuses, but our offense did kept them off the field and never let them get into a rhythm. Because they're an offense, if they're in rhythm, they're going to score points. I mean, if they lose games in the last 2 minutes, they've coughed plenty of football games up over the last 2 years, right? And that's what they do. That's what they do. That's why I was like, 27-24. They'll probably miss a field goal. You know what I mean? And that's a Vikings MO. But that being said, they never got into a rhythm tonight, and that's credit to our offense. Because when you sustain drives like we did, it's hard, man. I mean, we were sustaining drives and overcoming penalties and sustaining drives. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. You couldn't ask for a better start.
Yeah, 8 rushing attempts if you don't include, Reagor, Reagor reverse and Cousins, 2 carries.
Yeah,
I mean, so 8 rushing attempts. Like, I mean, come on, it's just. Whether they got, whether the game plan, whether that was the game plan or not, to have Captain Kirk slinging all over the place, it seems a little foolish to me. But
yeah, I would say seems pretty dumb, especially when Detroit just fucking like you said. Detroit has a very good offensive line, but Detroit just ran all over us.
And they did it again this week. With DeAndre Swift again, and I think this is what they do. I mean, they're going to take on the identity of their football coach.
Oh, Detroit's going to run the ball, yeah.
We've said it. I said it last week. I mean, they got 15 former coaches on that staff. I mean, that's it. I didn't watch Hard Knocks this year.
I'm pretty sure Detroit scored over 30 points now 4 straight weeks because the last 2 weeks of the year last year they did too.
Yeah, listen, Jared Goff's a competent quarterback too. Like, it's not like, I mean,
especially if you're running the ball, he'll play action to death.
Yeah, he's a baby hander, but he's a competent quarterback. But what a great team win, though. I mean, at the end of the day, what a great team win. Feels good to be 2-0. Sean Spielman's of the world. The Giants fans can shut up because we're the first place in the NFC East belongs to us. I'll just answer that tiebreaker for you right now. Okay. But the division, you saw some things. I mean, obviously the 2 1-1 football teams in the Cowboys and Washington. We don't know what Dallas is going to be. Right, we just don't know. It's Dak's timeline. There's a lot of question marks there, but that's a big win for them this week for sure. When the Bengals come to town and you're able to beat them, even though I think the Bengals are going to have a down year, it's still a big win with your backup quarterback, etc. Yeah. We'll see. Washington,
that's a must win. That was a must win for them, actually, Tommy. You know that?
It is.
They'll be only because it was back-to-back home games. I think there's only been one team since 2000. To lose back-to-back home games to start the season and make the playoffs, and it was the Eagles in 2003.
A lot of crazy stats. We are like the stat. Look at us. I mean,
I've got one more, Tom.
Hold the phone because before you do it, we might as well get verified on Twitter as we're at it here too. I mean, my goodness gracious.
They obviously got the right team that was coming to town. You know what I mean? That's the NFL. You know what I mean? Bengals coming to town, that was the right recipe. You know what I mean? They're not going to have a good year. That's just, they lost.
Their offensive line stinks.
Yeah, lost to the Steelers as a touchdown, as a home touchdown dog outright. And you come in here and lose to a Dakless Cowboys team. All right, so not a good start for the
I'll tell you what, though, Dallas can play a little defense, though. They can. Yeah, their defense is pretty good. Yeah, their defense is pretty good. And Cooper Russell, I think Dallas will beat the Giants on Monday night. You heard it here first. Dallas beats the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going out on a limb.
I know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying.
I'm saying you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
I mean, well, you did hear it here first.
Oh,
Kids,
Billy Vegas
got-
lock of the century.
kids got 920 in the fucking DraftKings account right now. All right, 920, feeling good. Positive vibes only, feeling good. 920 in the account.
Bill,
I still got shit going on too. I might be going higher. Hey, what's going on in that Colorado game? Is that over?
Bill, I do agree with that slight critique though. But when you're handling the game, it doesn't feel as bad. But I do agree. We tend to today we let off a little bit, but we got the W. That's all that matters.
Yeah,
It's all that matters. But
Giants.
I would have liked to see like a drive where you pound it down their throats a whole drive, and now you were going to come away with 3. You get a blocked field goal. Those kinds of things need to be cleaned up. So you should at least score at that in the second half. But you would have liked to see one drive where you sustained
Second half, I agree.
And punch one in. It would have made me feel a little better. I don't like that. Because I felt like week 1, as a football team, as a group, you took your foot off the gas for a minute.
Same thing, yeah.
So I sort of like to get through that. But guess what? Tonight, if we gotta look under rocks, there's a few little things. But overall, I mean, I can't do that tonight.
Sure,
I can't do that. And just since we're getting off early the next week, we beat them next week too. So I want everybody to calm down with that. I see people in the chat saying Eagles put up 14 next week. Okay. All right. And Washington's improved, right? They're improved because they actually have a quarterback, but they're Washington. And they always play us tough down there. I believe it's going to be a tough game. But I think
it'll be a tough game. It'll be a tough game.
I think Eagles pull one out next week. I do. I think what's the start? We're getting a 3-0.
Is it a 1 p.m. game on Sunday?
Yep.
Short week game. Yeah, it'll be a tough game. It'll absolutely be
tough after Monday night. It's tough after Monday night wins.
Yep, short week game.
But the damn good football team that doesn't affect. That affects the losers. I want to make this clear before we go into week 3. Okay? Especially when the division games on that Sunday. Okay? Against the Washington football team or Commanders, whatever they want to be called today. All right? That can't be a letdown game. You understand? That's what the great teams do. The great teams and the teams that win divisions are the teams that come out after a Monday night win like you did tonight, right? And you got a division rival on the road, short week. Guess what? You're a train right away. Nobody's even got to get in an airplane, right? That's a week you got to be up for, and that's a game. I'm not saying you have to go win. That's a game you better be ready to play. And the great ones go win those games. Like, if this football team wants to talk about NFC title games, and we can have that conversation when we get to that spot, right? But if we want to have those conversations, this is a football game you go win. You show us your resiliency and just bouncing back, not getting too high. Because this whole locker room talks about it. A bunch of Alabama players in there, right? So it's like, never get too high, never get too low. It's a common theme coming out of this locker room. It has been, especially from your quarterback, right? Then better not be too high after this one, because you get a big one next week. Huge one. That's a monstrous game for a lot of reasons.
Game.
And guess what? You know what you can't have happen? Because I don't want to hear it. Right? The other guy's old news. I don't care about old girlfriends, right? You move on to the next one, especially in the sports world, right? And I don't harp on that. But you got to go out and beat him, Jalen, because I can't hear from this city if you don't, because it'll be overreaction Monday. You can book that. You can freaking book it that they all come clamoring out. All these guys that can't let him go.
Yeah.
Right?
Next Sunday night.
Come on, Jalen. Come on, baby. Go take them out. I don't care how you win that game either. You can score 14. Just give up 10.
21 fucking 20. We're fine with it.
I don't care.
Wins are tough to come by in this league, especially road wins.
But that's a big game. It's a big game.
Very big game. Very big game.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of reasons. And we'll have plenty of time
game.
to talk about this week, right? But just looking ahead, I mean, it's a monstrous one.
Especially when you factor in Dallas and what are they without Dak, right? That injury. I mean, there's a bunch of us on here probably thought Washington was the other threat in the division anyway. But then Dak goes out and gets hurt, and you have no idea what that's going to do to Dallas. You know what I mean? That almost elevates Washington even more, just on the paper side of it, right? You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right. You got to go and compete and take care of business.
Game 10-7. Giants won 10-7.
Yeah, I saw that. Thanks. I seen somebody was talking about do you get championship vibes? I'm not going to start talking any sort of champion. I'll say this: we look damn good through 2 weeks. I'll start talking like how we really look through. I used to say through 4 weeks. Now there's fucking 17 games. I'll say through 5. After the 5th week, I'll let you know how we really look.
Yeah, I think week 6 is really when you start.
If you're 6-0, interview Wilson.
Yeah, if we're 6-0, me and Tommy might be running the streets again. I'll join me this time. Tom, we're running abroad.
You guys will have time because that's the bye week. That's the bye week, week 7. So that's perfect.
Yeah, plenty of time to get there, Wills.
We can walk the broad. We can walk the broad.
We can do a brisk. We can do a brisk walk.
Start off on a run and then get to the walk, then go back to the run. Walk.
Make a couple stops.
It's like when you're at school, you ran the straightaways. You ran the straightaways. You walked the curves, right? You ran the straightaways.
Maybe Bed Bath and Beyond if you have guys have some time.
Yeah, I don't know if there'll be time.
Home Depot.
Tom, I found
store, but give me that 1 sec.
you're good.
I lost where I was going with it because I was.
Does that have to do with walking to Broad?
No. What it has to do is
Broad.
it's like 4. You go 4 at a time, right? But I really don't think you start to really find out teams till the second half of the season either. So like I'm like a week 6, week 7 when you can really after that you really know who everybody is. You know who the big boys are, and then you know who everybody else is. Right?
There's always like 2.
Last year we were 2-5.
Yeah, exactly.
This team was the number one team.
2 teams that fucking scare you too.
We were the worst team
coming out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, we were bad. We were bad.
And get cold, right? I mean, Arizona was the toast of the town last year. Right? So, I mean, it's about what you're doing in the second half of the season too. So you don't want to get too high during the first one. But guess what? I mean, it is what it is. Wins are wins.
First time we won since 2016 in week 2 too. I mean, that's something.
Yeah, and then everybody got hurt, and then it went downhill.
Well, no, Lane got suspended. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Started to go on the PEDs. Hopefully, he stays off of that this year. I found 2 more stats for you real quick, Tom. One with our game and the other one overall for Monday night. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but Jefferson, when covered by Darius Slay, only had one.
Too late.
Sorry.
Go.
Quick trigger. Jefferson had 1 catch total when guarded by Slay. And obviously, Slay had 2 catches the entire night. So when those were matched up against each other, Slay had more catches.
What's the other one?
This one I actually thought was wild, and I didn't see any of the other game. And I'll have you guys guess this one. How many combined yards rushing do you think Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry had combined tonight?
40.
No, 35.
No.
30.
17 and like fucking 10. So like 28. Also.
Yeah, 30.
Henry
Your numbers guy. Go ahead.
30. I'm looking at Dalvin, so I know Dalvin at 17.
40. I'm right there.
42. Yeah, 42.
Wow. That's crazy. That's nuts. But
I'll
Buffalo
upset fantasy people tonight.
I mean, but it just shows you Buffalo's good and we're good. Right? So I mean, it shows
That's
you
what happens when you get your doors blown off. You don't run for a lot of yards.
Real quick, a tweet here from Josh Tellentino about Zach McPherson on Darius Slay. Slay took one of the best receivers in the world and he put him in a car seat at the line. That's a great line. It's true. He's one of the best DBs. We fed off of him for real, seeing him make so many plays, led the defense, and back up his talk on the field. You have no choice to get up and get behind your brother. I thought that was cool. The car seat line, I think, was the best part of that, though. Put him in a car seat.
What's Richie talking about here? Buzzkills?
Richie, I think we're having a lot of fun. Personally.
Kimbrel.
Richie, where are you at, Richie?
I think we're enjoying it.
We're having a lot of fun here, Richie. Since Crow was hard to come by, I got some fireball for Jalen Hurts. Great job, buddy. Tip of the cap to you, tremendous.
You better go for Tua too while you're there. They going down for his former teammate while you're there.
Yeah, fuck it.
I don't think Sims is there yet. I don't think he's there yet.
Wow, I got to go for 8 touches to get you back on board. You got to get for 8 touches.
We're in the upside down world.
In the parking lot. He was playing at J.C. Penney's parking lot, carving everybody up.
Yeah.
Carving everybody up like back in the day. Look at it. Still can't get him on your side.
Slants.
Not Marino. Not Marino. He's not dead. Lazy's out. places.
Finkel is Einhorn. Cheers, Jalen. Great job out of you, Jalen.
Finkel is Einhorn.
Yeah,
Einhorn is Finkel.
Umberto, the country wouldn't
Einhorn's
survive
a
that.
man.
Umberto.
But
Bills
that's
Mafia versus Philly. The country wouldn't survive that.
that's trending right now on Twitter. Like, there's so many different like videos and memes of that right now on Twitter.
I can't do this right now. It's week 2.
Yeah, it's week 2. Everyone needs to calm down.
We're good. We're good. What we've been answered in 2 weeks is we are who we thought we were, and we're good. And our quarterback has played better than we thought he would. That's a win. He's shown the growth. Well, now, when you see that, you say, "Hey, all bets are off now, peeps." Like on how good you can be now.
You'll be flying. You'll be flying high. You'll be flying high, but it ain't Kirk Cousins coming out of that tunnel. 1-7's pretty special. You'll be happy to be in that position, though. You'll be happy to be in that fucking position.
Oh, if we go to the Super Bowl, yeah.
You'll be happy to be in that position.
I just want to. I'd be happy to win a playoff.
7.
I'll take a playoff win.
Yep.
I haven't had one in a while.
7's okay.
By the way, Hurts, I guess he pulled an Embiid. He did a post-game tweet. I didn't know Jalen Hurts was a tweeter.
What do you say?
Well,
Hurts, don't it? With a winky face, fly Eagles fly.
Eh.
It's kind of weak.
Eh.
Hey, listen. It was his first. All right.
it is weak. It is weak.
That's his first tweet.
Well, I think like post-game tweet after like a big performance.
Berto. You just Gregged us right there. So it's not his first tweet.
No, I didn't say it was his first tweet. I said it was his first tweet after a big game
it's
performance.
his first tweet.
No, yeah, his first Joel Embiid tweet. Embiid. He hasn't been playing like Embiid.
Oh my lord.
You said a few.
Oh my lord. My Lanta.
I'm sorry.
So he tweets all the time.
No.
No, he doesn't.
No.
So what is it here? Where are we at?
I don't know why it's confusing.
Now I don't know anything.
Go get your.
Now I know nothing.
Yeah, he said a few things. Go get your shine box.
I know an Elon Musk friend where we can find it out.
No, I can't.
We get confirmation.
I don't know if we can reveal that. Facebook will hit us. I don't know if I can reveal that.
Oh, what a play. Is that a triple play?
You said a few things. You offended him.
Yeah, Richie, I don't want to go there with Russ. I'm not a big Russ guy at this point in his career, but Russ has always been a second half player in terms of Russell Wilson. And come on, I mean, yeah, right now he is, but listen, it's a long season. It's a long season. He's played tremendous. He's been better than he's been exactly what we asked him to be. And we said if he can do this, he's going to be really good. And he's done it. But let's keep the sample size going. We got a long year. Let's not start talking about, at 2 weeks in, yes, he's played better than Russ and Rodgers. I'll definitely give you that. Right? But let's just slow that one down a little bit.
Wills, to answer your question, his last tweet was 4 days ago, and it was a sponsored post by Penn Medicine. To answer your question.
So what you're telling me is he has somebody tweeting.
So he occasionally tweets.
So his agent came up with a cheesy tweet tonight. All right, that's basically.
I don't even want to put that on him. You know what I mean? I can't put that on him. I mean, I can just tell you.
I would prefer it said Hurts so good. So we should tell his agent or whoever tweets for him that Hurts don't it.
Maybe that's a follow-up. Maybe
so
that's next
good,
week. Maybe that's next week after we beat Wentz. I don't know. I hate tweets.
Richie, I'll put the Dolphins in there too. The way they played the first 2 weeks.
They're fast. They are.
Chiefs
fast.
are good. Chiefs are good. Chargers are good. I don't know how Herbert.
Chargers are
hurt.
I'm just gonna keep telling you guys this. Chargers are the Chargers.
I know. I agree with you, but Herbert's special.
Oh, he's absolutely special. But the Chargers have just got this.
Stigma. Yeah, but the Chargers have they do have some guys on defense now, though. And if the safety gets hurt, though, that all goes out the window. But that dude's fucking awesome.
Is the engine, but they find ways to lose close games. It's the Chargers.
They always have. I agree.
But Herbert's
fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
Generational. But they got to get that stigma off of them. They got to get to the playoffs, right? They got to get the stigma of this 500 type record team when they got on paper every year they're better than that. Like I'm going back too. I'm not just talking about these last two. Like every year on paper they're better than how they play.
There's and like I said, it's the end of 2 weeks, but and there's been a tremendous quarterback play by a lot of guys. and a lot of good throws. But you'll be hard-pressed to find a better throw by Justin Herbert with broken ribs than he did on that fourth down.
DeAndre Carter.
Last time.
Down the middle, yeah.
Holy shit.
Say it, Donna.
On a rope in a bucket.
That ball was wild, dude. First off, what made that even wilder, Sweeps, was that before that, he could have just ran for the first down, and instead he just went like this because he's like so hurt, and you're like, oh my God, it's over. It's done. It's done. And then he was like, no, I'm just going to throw this piss rod down the fucking seam. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Not to mention I had money on the Chiefs, so I did not want that TD. Fuck, unreal. That was unreal.
Yeah.
But they still lost the game, and to Tom's point.
Ryan, yes, I do think that Gannon needs to play his corners tighter to the line of man coverage. You got two physical corners on the outside in Slay and Bradbury. I mean, that's what they do. But I also don't have a problem with guys.
He did do it a good amount tonight, though. He was in man a lot tonight, and we did blitz a good amount tonight, which is hopefully something he's going to use moving forward. I'm not going to hurt Gannon after tonight.
No. What I'm going to say is I thought what they did better.
I know you're not. I'm not saying you are.
When they were off the line, it wasn't like 12 yards back or 10 yards back. It was like 7, right? So it was like a little cushion, but not enough to give you what you want, right? It's not being scared to get beat over top, right? Tonight was the first night, when we thought the Gannon phrase has always been missionary, right? Tonight's the first night as him being a defensive coordinator that I saw him willing to say, okay, if you want to beat me over top, go ahead. Because I think my corners are good enough that they won't get beat. And my secondary is. So in terms of that, like that's some growth on that side too. Playing to your personnel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's all we ever ask for is to make adjustments. From your coaches, from your players. Just make some adjustments. Just watching. If you're a Vikings fan, you got to throw up. I mean, there weren't any adjustments on either side of the ball tonight. You know what I mean? It was just straight fucking your girlfriend, looking her right in the eyes. You know what I mean? Sorry. I mean, every once in a while, you got to turn her over. It's fun. It's fun.
You're like a flower.
Do you like this? You like that?
You like that? Stop looking at me.
You like that? Oh, my phone's gonna die soon.
Look at me while I'm looking at you, looking at me.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
All right. Let's winners and losers tonight. And the clear-cut winner for me is obviously the quarterback. So, I don't even care about the second half right now. I mean, he was tremendous in the first half. He was on time, in rhythm. They're the things we talk about, right? And accuracy and throwing the windows. And I thought tonight was the first big step in proving that he can do that. And there's a lot of throws that inside the pocket that he made too that, are good timing throws. They're not coming out Josh Allen lasers, but they're still coming out good balls, right? You can see the difference. But you say, hey, you throw that on time, right? You look at it, right? And listen, guys were wide open too, but he still trusted it. You know what I mean? He still trusted it. And he plays winning football. He just plays winning football, right? And as long as you're playing winning football and we're winning football games, I told you this right before we started the year, right? Like, and you're not turning the football over, guess what you are? I hate to break it to you. I mean, San Fran's looking at the same thing, right? Same thing. Same thing. San Fran's better now. Because he's got a guy who wins football games. He's not flashy. He's not gonna carve you up. He's just a winner. Some guy just wins.
You know how I feel about Jimmy G.
Sometimes the stat sheet don't matter.
They are
Sometimes
better now.
Doesn't matter for some guys. Like, you know what I mean? Some guys, Jalen's always going to show up in the stat sheet because of what he can do with his legs, right? But he plays winning football, and there couldn't be a bigger winner tonight than Jalen Hurts.
I'll say Darius Slay just because he's probably the other biggest winner.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, phenomenal night for Darius Slay. Shut down the guy everyone thinks is the best receiver in football. Phenomenal night from Darius Slay. 2 interceptions, could have had 4. Could have easily had 4. Maybe 5.
Yeah, maybe a 5-piece.
Yeah, maybe a 5-piece. Maybe a 5-burger. That would have been fun, huh? 5-burger. That would have been really bad for Kirk. Little 5 spot. But yeah, no. I mean, just tip of the cap. Great game.
First
big
time
place.
ever.
Big play, Slay. First time ever for a 5 spot.
Yeah, we get set on that. Who's the last quarterback to throw 5-piece nugget?
Hold on. I remember.
Jeff Jordan.
I got one for you. I remember. Who was it? Somebody threw a 6 spot for the Bills. JP Losman, maybe.
Yeah, it sounds like a Losman.
JP Losman, maybe.
Oh no, who was the guy that? Oh my God, who was the guy?
Yeah. What was that? What was the name I was trying to think of?
Guy was always. I feel like the guy was always what? Nate Peterman. Yep,
Peterman might have thrown a 6 spot. He might have thrown a 6 spot.
He might have thrown 10. He might have thrown 12 in 2 weeks. He might have went 12 in 2 weeks.
He might have had 15 in 3 weeks.
Peterman with 5.
5.
And I believe it
Look
was
up
all
JP
in like
Losman.
it was all in the first half, correct? When they
Buffalo.
pulled him?
Just looking at bed, like just
JP Losman. Did he have a 6 spot? Please tell me he did.
just watching bad beats. I don't understand how some of these how college coaches don't get punched in the face. I can't believe that those guys go shake hands and you're like, oh man, you'll go to jail. Well, I'll do a night in jail. Tennessee, forget about betting. 56-6 with a minute 20 left and running plays from the 10-yard line. And they scored a touchdown. How do you not punch a guy in the face? How do you do it? What are you doing, dude? The guy shakes his hand like, hey, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us. Oh, you fucking dork.
You needed that HTD, didn't you? You're going to need that HTD, huh?
Thanks for having us. You're rocking up. Thanks for hosting us, you fucking dork. I punch him right in his face. That's it. It's over. The state trooper's not going to save you.
You want to know why, Sweeps? You know what? It's also on this answer that I'm about to give you also replies to the answer of why Kirk Cousins didn't grab Justin Jefferson by the face mask, because it's 2022 and everyone's a pussy. That's why. There it is. Answer.
I have more info on the Peterman thing. Since everybody was asking for it. Peterman threw 5 interceptions during the first half of his starting debut. He posted a 0.0 passer rating in his 2018 season debut. His 11 interceptions between 2017 and 2018 are the most by any NFL quarterback ever with less than 100 passing attempts.
My goodness gracious.
So he sucked, but he sucked with style.
Yeah, that's seeing ghosts big time. That's definitely seeing ghosts. I mean, you're
Nathan Peterman.
What a throw by the Syracuse quarterback. I didn't see it.
Oh, my God, that was a
great
dime.
Ball. Great ball. People have been talking shit. It was a great ball. Eric, stop sucking dick. Great ball.
Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 6. Peyton Manning threw 6.
Fitzy threw 6.
Jeff George had it.
Bobby Herbert threw 6 twice.
Bear.
Jeff George is in a five pick category.
Brian Sipe threw 6 twice.
Oh, here you go. It was actually against the Eagles. Jim Hardy. Goes back to 1950. So again, it's a while.
Yeah,
against the Eagles on September 24th, 1950.
An 8 spot.
No helmet.
12 for 39 for 193 yards.
And 8 picks.
Wow. Nobody got to an 80% completion percentage and 2 rushing touchdowns back then. It's finding it hard to believe.
Not wearing a helmet.
I mean, dude was 12 of 39. That's pretty far off from 80%.
I never heard of him.
Even if you add in the 8 picks, he's only 20 of 39.
8 picks, my God!
I'll tell you what, 8 picks. That might get you punched in the face too. You can't quarterback anymore. So
well, that's when at 6 I'm starting to audible to fucking inside draws.
Yeah,
inside draw. Inside draw here. It's 20 sweep.
I got 5 picks already. Going to punt. It's 3rd down. Can we punt? Quick kick.
The most recent 7 interception game. Greg, I think we're on the same page, by the way. Pro Football Reference, by the way. Is that what you're on? Ty Detmer with 7.
Check where he's at.
Ty Detmer
doesn't know where he's at.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm exiting this page immediately and clearing the search history.
I was gonna say there's some good names with 5 in a game.
Go
you
ahead.
got Jameis, you got Peterman, Matt Barkley, Russell Wilson,
Jeff George. Come on.
Audubon's own Joe Flacco,
of course.
Matt Ryan, Eli twice.
Jeff George.
Of course.
Jeff George.
Come on.
Gus Farrat.
I'm
Matt
looking,
Oh,
Sweeps.
Gus for Prez.
I'm
That's
looking for Jeff
one of my
George.
favorite things of all
I'm
time.
looking, Sweeps. I'm digging. I'm
1991.
scrolling.
1991. Jeff. Come on. One time for the good guy. One time for this.
I was really hoping for JP Losman's name.
Warren Moon
No, I
did it
haven't
in
seen him.
91.
That's unfortunate. I can't believe that Losman didn't do it. Fucking.
I have Jim
trash
Zorn.
can
I
ass
have the
bum.
good Jim Zorn.
Oh, Jim Zorn.
Osman probably did it at Tulane. And so Welch, you're half right.
Oh,
List
shit.
5.
George, you son of a bitch. You think
He was a
He's
ringer, Sweeps. He
got
was a ringer.
22 fours for Jeff. No fives.
Oh, we got a Joe Namath in here with 5. Look at
Oh, of
you.
course. Broadway loves to throw picks.
Oh, we actually have 2 Joe Namaths in here.
Kurt Warner,
No, 3. We have 3 Joe Namaths.
Culpepper.
He has more
Aikman.
picks than tutties. You know that?
boy, Broadway.
I'm pretty sure he has more picks than tutties. Pretty sure. And he's in the Hall of Fame.
My God.
Strictly because of the beating the United in that game and calling it. That's it. Literally the only reason he's in the Hall of Fame.
We
And he wore a mink on the sideline. and he said, I want to kiss you. I want to kiss you right now.
Susie Colbert.
That was one of the greatest things of all time.
Oh,
I know it was rough for Suze, but
Yeah.
I want to kiss you right now. And then next year, I had to be like,
Susie felt a little bit
I
uncomfortable.
feel so terrible about it. I went to rehab. You're a drunk. It's fine, Joe. You're a drunk.
Susie,
I'd
we-
have respected him more if he was like, listen, I'm a drunk. And I chase pussy. I don't know what to tell you.
You know it was
Always Jason.
I would have signed the helmet for Suze. Christ.
Yeah, Susie, we know it was uncomfortable.
I
But
would have sent her a care package. I mean, come on.
great
What are
TV.
you talking
It was
about?
great TV.
We have a 5-time appearance by Jets fan favorite quarterback from way back in the 60s, and that is the one, the only Dick Wood with 5 interceptions.
Right.
That's a hard name, yeah.
How do you-
Hard. That's a hard one. I mean, you're
That's hard
talking
to
about-
say. That's
And
a
it's-
hard name to say.
That's a
And it's
hard
not
one.
Richard Wood, like, because they have nicknames in here. It's literally Dick Wood.
Oh yeah, old Dick Wood. Yeah.
What's wrong with his parents? My God.
That's like when I used. That's like when
Terrible
we used to play the fucking. We
His dad
used to play the Reds. We used to
His
play the
dad-
Reds. They're like, oh, there's Dick Pole.
He's gonna be great.
It was a Reds coach for years, Dick Pole.
He's gonna get made fun of in kindergarten. Hey, Dick Wood's here.
Dick Wood threw 5.
4 times, Tom. 4 times. Back to back to back to
To
back.
swallow.
Dick Wood is tough to swallow.
There's no chance that Dick Wood was any good.
Jesus Christmas. That's like double. It's like a double aggressive Dick Wood. Jeez, really
Wood,
coming
he
at you.
Dick
Really
Wood,
coming at you hard.
he played soft.
Dick Wood waits off. Yep. Didn't live up to the name.
Dick Wood played soft. Dick Wood. Shit.
No,
What's
no
that
appearance
like?
from
Really? What's that really fucking cheap wood?
Dick Wood couldn't find the hole.
Dick Wood made a
Hold on,
balsa wood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, so I'll search it for you. Really?
It's balsa
cheap
wood. I got it.
Okay.
We're here.
All right, we
Balsa.
got
Tulsa.
it.
Right,
Yeah,
look
we-
it up.
Balsa wood.
just in case Sweeps. I didn't know.
Dick Wood doesn't throw ill-advised passes.
Really? I'm gonna search it anyway, just in case.
Fantastic.
Cheap wood.
Kirk Cousins in front of a microphone. Good for you.
Oh, Kirk.
Already found
Kirk,
it.
did you think about maybe not lofting the ball towards Justin Jefferson's side after Slay almost picked off 3 balls? No, that's why I did it 2 more times.
Oh,
Mets beat the Brewers tonight, which is cool.
the Wills, to answer your question, the cheapest wood to buy is the maple wood.
Yeah, but maple's not flimsy.
No, Maple's hard.
Yeah, that's a hardwood.
And we're back to Dick Wood.
Yeah,
Oh, comes around. In or around the mouth. Dick Wood.
Yep, Dick Wood. Yeah,
Always on the tip of your tongue.
That
Dick.
was
Yep.
It's the game
Yep.
of touch. That
hard to get a hold of that Dick Wood.
Hard to get a hold of it.
good old mushroom Dick Wood.
Oh my God, I found him again. There's actually another Dick Wood appearance.
He's obviously a trick.
So
They
6.
remove him from the rest.
I mean, he's a wonderful quarterback.
Dick Wood's definitely more than a handful, that's for sure.
I'm surprised he wasn't canceled. Like, we got
remove his numbers. I'm just gonna remove Dick Wood's numbers.
Little asterisk next to it.
Dick Wood.
Surprised he wasn't a Redskin. Surprised Dick Wood wasn't.
He's Indian. Dick Wood an Indian.
By the way, Sweeps, no Jeff George on the list. I'm at the bottom.
Fucking unbelievable.
Good for him. Good for him.
I think Jeff scrubbed it. I think Jeff scrubbed the list.
Yeah, he was definitely in this. He was definitely on this list.
He had a Dick Wood in for himself.
Yeah, I was going to say that's him.
He inserted Dick Wood. I think that
Jeff George is doing porn. He is Dick Wood.
He's the artist formerly known as Jeff George.
He literally inserted Dick Wood.
Literally and figuratively.
I know I've seen fucking Jeffrey throw 4. He's got a fucking 4 burger. That's for sure.
He's no Dick Wood, that's for sure.
He set the gold standard.
Yeah.
Oh, Don, he's back.
That's I said goodnight. Decided to stay. Biggest regret of my life.
Yeah.
That makes you a liar, Don, because you said goodnight and you didn't mean it. That makes you a liar.
We love Don. Oh, Ed, we hear you, buddy. We got to go out and get one.
I hear you, Don. A lot of Dick Wood talk.
Give me your winners, guys. Evan said here to find receipts of Jimmy and Rob attacking me during the off season.
Yeah,
would be fine. Jake making an appearance. Einhorn has Dick Wood. Let's go on. Thanks for stopping in, Jake.
First thing he said all year. Hey, Jake.
Appreciate you.
MNF back to back. Imagine that.
Appreciate the drive by.
Is this microphone on?
Testes.
I'll go with my winner being Devontae because now everyone can realize, oh, wait, yeah, he's really good. In case anyone forgot, he's really freaking good.
See you, Bill.
Yeah, pretty good, right?
Yeah, not bad.
Peace out, Bill.
So many people last week like, oh, he's going to request a trade by week 5. Is he? Are you sure? Can we get that in writing?
People are fucking morons. You got to factor that in.
I hear you, Wes. I hear you.
Eddie, we don't agree a lot, Eddie, but I agree with you. I mean, it's a little concerning, but it's a win. And the way you played in the first half, you know.
Defense was locked down, didn't have to score, but I hear you. And you got a kick block. Can't have that happen. No,
some things that obviously, listen, I have to always say this. When you're winning football games, it's easier to get stuff fixed than when you're losing. It's always going to be easier. It's always going to be easier to fix problems and get more attention to detail when you're winning football games. So
that's the truth. That's the truth. Loser for me is Justin Jefferson, strictly because I might be getting kicked out shortly. My phone's about to die, and then he got absolutely owned on Monday Night Football.
First,
bang.
I'm gonna go with Kirk, just because of the obvious reasons. His Monday night his primetime record and
Monday Night Kirk
and his typical back leg. We're back legging at Kirk. We're just throwing him up for grabs, and that's a recipe for disaster.
The whole coaching staff for me, the whole Vikings coaching staff should get it. Should have a whole bus full of pink slips.
Nobody's allowed on.
Reagor for me. Guy act like he was freaking Michael Jordan coming back. Oh, redemption sure. You had what, 3? I have it here. 3 punt return attempts for 5 yards, and total you had 1 catch. Yeah, that was revenge for you.
That's a Michael Jackson redemption tour. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's actually surpasses what I thought he would be.
Sweeps. Jeff George only threw 4 interceptions once that I saw.
We're back.
And it was his rookie year in 1994.
See what I say? 91.
Yeah.
He had 91 on the brain. All right.
Tom, Greg wanted to complete the mission. He knew he was going to find Jeff George somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I could echo to go different, but I was going to echo the defensive coordinator, Dalvin Cook. I mean, not really his fault. You know, they were down big early, but 6 rushes for 17 yards. You're supposed to be a premier back. You gotta be better than that. Don, I thought you were going to bed. Shut
it. Guys, doing me a favor, Don. Relax. Step off. Okay.
Come on, bottom row of the stats. The stats team is the bottom row. Come on.
Congratulations to Reagor for catching all the punts, though.
Could you imagine if he dropped one? Oh
my God.
That would have been spectacular.
Oh.
Listen, I don't hate guys because they don't pan out as players. I hate guys when they act like it's our fault that they don't pan out as players. That's where the hate comes in. That's where the despise comes in. Like,
definitely our fault.
Like we don't get on JJ for like we do Reagor. You know what I mean? Like we don't get on because JJ just didn't say a word, right? Like he stunk and knew he stunk, right? In terms of Reagor like thought he was good. See who else? Reagor thought he was good. Like you actually I don't know what tape you were watching, but you actually thought you were good. Well, it's going to be a great week. We're 2-0. Head down to Washington next week. We're going to have plenty of time on HUD to talk about that in the coming week. And it's a monster game. And it's going to be a fun game to talk about. Mm-hmm. And it's a game it's another show us game. It's another show me game, especially early on here with this schedule, right? We talked about it. Well, you should be able to come out of this schedule with
the road to 6-0.
Yep, Sweeps is already on that road. I'll be okay with 5-1. I'll be really happy. Right? I think a lot less than that, it could be a little concerning. If you go 4-2, then it means you went 500 these next 4 weeks. That's not great. Yeah. So a big little run coming up here for the Eagles. But feel good about this week. Soak in how Jalen played. And if you're still hating on the way he's played, then I think that's what we do call haters, right? Like if you still have an agenda with it, then just stop, dude, because he's never going to sell you, right? He's never going to sell you if he didn't sell you tonight on the things that he's capable of doing. It just won't. And it's 1 week. I get it, but it's 2-0 football, and it's been winning football since he's taken over. I can't even say under center, but in the shotgun for the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's just been winning football. I mean, I think we're 3 games over 500 since he's been a starter. If I have my numbers right,
yeah, I think so.
We're 9-8 last year, so he's 3 games over 500 as a starter. So that I'm not telling you that's the end all be all, but you keep piling up the wins. Guess what?
It's a start. I mean, it gets you. It's getting you. To where you want to get to. You know what I mean? And then the discussion is, postseason wins. So I mean, like you said, you're not going to knock the guy. You know what I mean? He does win. Now it's, now can you put it together for after the 17? Can you put it together for a little run? For a little runny poo, a little postseason runny poo. We'll see. A lot of season left.
Yeah, I agree. I think that opening drive, Umberto, was really impressive. Maybe his best drive as a starter, he said, made so many throws with guys in his face too. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, watching that first drive, if you have eyes, you say, well, this is what a franchise quarterback does. Like, I watch them all around the league. I mean, I'm not telling you there's a million of them, but you watch the franchise guys that you know who they are all around the league.
Well, that's QB1 shit right there, buddy. That's QB1.
Yeah. Debate.
What's sad too is it was so early in the game. At least for me, I wanted to pump the brakes a second just because there's a lot of game left, right? But you're right. I mean, I think there was one play on that drive where I wanted to nitpick, but after the rest of the game played out, it's just there's no sense in it because he played so well.
Yep, exactly. And then let's hope Darius Slay's good for next week. It looked like he was a little banged up after the second pick, or actually the play before that.
Before that, he told the guys they were trying to sub for him, and he said,
"Yeah,
no, there." Then he picked it.
Yep, he got hurt. I guess falling down on that, or maybe his foot. They were saying, I don't know what it is, but short week. So let's hope the training staff can get him right. And besides that, you came out of the week, not only with a win, but it looks like on paper without a major injury too.
Mhm.
So that's also a great win, right, guys? You know, there's wins, and then there's wins where you come out healthy. Okay, good, because those teams are the ones that are left standing. They usually are the ones left standing. So on the Washington boys. Any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
Go Birds.
I was wrong, and I'm happy I was.
Yeah, I was wrong on Jalen Hurts, and I'm happy I was. We're not talking about the game. I thought we were going to win.
Fireball Crow. Fireball Crow for me.
But you know what? I think it's weird because
Big night betting, which was nice.
At the end of last year, I felt like I started to just see that he plays winning football, and part of me then wanted to give him more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me give him one more year. Let me give him one more year before I say, hey, I need to go get that guy, because I didn't want Russ and I didn't want Watson. I didn't want those guys. I'm like, he's that guy.
Yeah, and like we talked
That
about,
guy for younger and cheaper.
Yeah, and I said it a couple weeks ago, and I think we all talked about it. Fantasy isn't real life. I get it, right? But this guy's a top 4 quarterback in fantasy, so at some point it's going to translate to wins. It just is, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the exciting part. You know what I mean? And I know it doesn't always. I'm not saying it's 99% foolproof. You know what I mean? But if you're a top 4 fantasy guy, especially at that position, it's going to translate to W's. You know what I mean? And that's the exciting part. As an Eagle fan coming into this, you didn't maybe expect these first 2 weeks to go the way they did. You know what I mean? But you still had to know that you were going to get a pretty good offensive output from him, and that should lead to wins. So,
Tom, I'll add this one quick thing to what you just brought up too, with going back to the offseason with Russ was out there. There's a bunch of other names. I'll just name 3 that were up for grabs, right? That, reportedly the Eagles are looking into, or they're rumored or whatever. And it was Russ, it was Watson, and it was Mayfield. Those are the 3 that, they're probably the most realistic in the league quarterbacks that the Eagles are going to take a flyer on if it's not Hurts. Well, for 2 weeks, there's no one of that group that has looked better than Jalen Hurts. And of that group, guess who's the cheapest right now? It's Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
That's
what we talked about, right?
Yeah.
That's what we talked about this offseason. Is keep the young player. Let's see if he can develop, because he has all the tools of that franchise quarterback in terms of his leadership abilities. And can he figure it out and get better? And then his organization did him a favor by saying, hey, we're going to give you the keys, and we're going to give you the keys right now, and we're going to put things around you to help your engine, right? We're going to soup your engine up a little bit, and that gives you confidence of being able to stand in the pocket. It gives you confidence in trusting that somebody's going to get open. And listen, I can't be more excited and more proud of a dude than I am of him, because from a coaching perspective, is it's all you want from guys, the marathon, not a sprint, right? And if you're always willing to get better, and you're willing to put in the time and the effort and the dedication to it, and you love it, and it's really genuine work that you're putting in, you can get better when you're really talented. And I think we're seeing it now. We just got to continue to see it. So I don't want to go crowning, but I'm as close to crowning as I can crown. As I can, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said,
Michael, thanks for chiming in, bud.
Yeah, thanks. And I think we can all answer those questions. The 3 names that Brodo linked to the Eagles. I think to a man, if we could all go around real quick and think. I don't know if there's any of those guys that you might have swapped out. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna say because of Russ's age. That's all. I'm not. How I feel about Baker. That's a 16,000 no's, right? Deshaun, Watson, talent wise, but he was pretty much going to get a year.
Yeah.
Or at least half a year. So no thanks.
And I'm not paying him that kind of money.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to pay him that.
Trading the assets to get him.
And then the longer we found, when we kept checking, we're like, damn, Russ is 34. You know what I mean? What's he got left in the tank? You might as well roll the dice with your young pup. That's, so I think to a man, none of those 3 names moved the needle for us. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people wanted Russ, right? And if you did, it's nobody, sticking a middle finger at you. You know what I mean? But that's probably the only name that you probably would have swapped out for.
That was the only name that ever came up in conversation that I would say I would entertain.
Yeah.
But I also said I ain't giving you amount of first round picks.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yep.
I'm not selling my soul to the devil per se.
Right.
Like, I got a guy that has a similar skill set. So if I got a guy that I feel like has a similar skill set and he's younger, and I believe he can develop and I can believe he can get better, we talk about it, man. I mean, how much have we talked about this? Your junior year is your year. That's your make or break year. It's your junior year in college. Like, hey, bro, if you're not good your junior year, you're just never going to be a starter in any position, right? Like you're just a program guy. You know what I mean? Hang on the roster until the end, and that's what you are. And there's other guys that figure it out as and grow as they spend time at each level, right? And I think what we saw from Jalen at the college level is he grew his senior year. He grew into more of a passer, the ability to do it, where you saw it more than you ever saw it at Alabama. So you saw a little growth. And I think that little growth is what jumped him up into the second round type of pick, because there was like tape per se. I'm not a tape guy, but there was tape for those guys to say, oh, look, I mean, he can run, he can throw it. And granted, it was a Big 12. I get it. And he had major weapons there too. But you guys get what I'm saying. So
it was a good base of talent to work with. That
he grew, though. He grew is the whole point of it. And now we're watching him from year one, per se, as a full-time starter, to year two. And throughout last year, actually, if you want to be real, as the season went on, right, he grew. He just didn't grow in a playoff game, but that was his first one, right? So you're going to get another chance at some point. Can you grow from that? And what you saw, and it looks like this offseason is, you saw a guy that knew what he needed to get better at, because his last game was his last time out there, and some things got exposed. And I think he's a guy that he has too much of a fucking big sack that not what the Buccaneers defensive coordinator said. There's no way it didn't come across his desk. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
There's no way at some point this offseason it wasn't sent by Nick. It wasn't sent by somebody to motivate him to develop and keep getting better. And not that he needs it, but man, you use everything as motivation. So that would really surprise me if that didn't come across his desk at some point. Because I saw today a guy that mattered to a little bit.
Oh yeah, he looks like he's a guy that's playing with a chip on his shoulder. And that's you love that. As a fan, you love that, because those guys are dangerous. Those guys that have been underestimated or doubted. And you play with that chip on your shoulder, man. It's always there, and you're constantly trying to get better, to prove people wrong and to stay in this league and show people what you can do. That's a guy you want in your huddle, man. So
he went out this offseason, going to both of your points as far as just he's a worker. He went to a guy named Tom House, who he's one of the million guys that he works with the quarterback
guru.
He's a baseball guy. Yeah.
Baseball guy too.
He's the same guy that Matt Ryan went to and worked with all throughout the summer before Matt Ryan won the MVP. Now, I'm not saying like, oh, this is guaranteed, confirmed lock that Jalen Hurts is winning the MVP, but off of tonight, and even though it was kind of sketchy, he did mostly with his feet in week one, looked like an MVP. Now it's about building off of that. Again, we don't need an MVP performance every week. Nobody's saying like, oh, give him the trophy now. But to a lot of us, again, nobody thought he sucked. We just didn't think he'd be this. That's what we've seen so far from him. And we're in week 2, when this is a September where a lot of NFL teams with the limited preseason or no preseason shouldn't have the chemistry that this guy does already.
No, and he made like, I'll say, a handful of throws in week 1 too that were like big time.
Yeah,
So even in that, even though it wasn't the same type of game, right? But he showed. See you, Wayne. All right, boys. Well,
no, absolutely. Just to close on that, if he's the guy that we all think he is, that statement was plastered in his workout room every day. And he looked at that. He looked at that every day. Because you're absolutely right. He's not seeing that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, boys. A lot of fun. We'll talk to everybody out there this week again.
Yes.
We appreciate you all tuning in. We love you. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. Stay around. Turn your damn alerts on. We're on all social media platforms. For Brian Wilson, no longer with us. Ryan Brodo, Greg Milakovic, Nick Delgazzo. I'm Tom Arnone. 3-0 talk coming soon.